Welcome to the AI Bookworm. Today, we are digging into a book that, honestly, has turned personal finance on its head for millions of people. Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We're going to break down the core lessons and see how they challenge pretty much everything you and I were ever taught about money.
So let's just jump right in with the one question that defines the entire book. Are you working for your money, or is your money working for you? I'm telling you, just letting that question sink in, that one little shift in thinking is the key to everything we're about to talk about.
You see, the whole book is built around this amazing story from Kiyosaki's childhood. He basically had two father figures. On one hand, you have his real dad, who he calls his poor dad. Super smart guy, highly educated, worked for the government. And then there was his best friend's father, his rich dad, who, get this, was an 8th grade dropout, but went on to become an incredibly wealthy entrepreneur.
And their worldviews? They were polar opposites. Poor Dad would say things like, the love of money is the root of all evil. Rich Dad? He believed the lack of money was the root of all evil. One dad said, play it safe, don't take risks. The other said, no, you have to learn how to manage risk. It was this huge difference in their mindsets that really got the author thinking.
Now, Poor Dad's advice. This probably sounds super familiar, right? It's the script we're all handed. Get good grades, go to college, find a safe, secure job with a good pension. You know the drill. The whole goal is to become a really good employee.
But Rich Dad, he just completely flipped that idea on its head. He said, no, the goal isn't to find a good company to work for, it's to find a good company to buy. And that is a massive shift, right? It's all about becoming an owner, an investor, someone who creates jobs, not just someone who takes one.
So what happens when you follow that conventional advice? Well, more often than not, it leads to what Rich Dad called the rat race. And it's exactly what it sounds like, this endless loop that keeps even really smart, hardworking people from ever getting financially free.
But what's driving this trap? What keeps the wheels spinning? Kiyosaki says it's not the economy, it's not your boss, it's all in our heads. It's powered by two of the most powerful human emotions there are, fear and desire.
Here's how it works. First, there's the fear. The fear of not having enough money, of not being able to pay your rent or your bills. That fear is what gets you out of bed every morning and gets you to your job. But then you get that paycheck and desire kicks in. You start thinking about all the cool stuff you could buy, a new car, a vacation. And so you spend it. This cycle, it's a trap.
And this just creates this relentless cycle, doesn't it? Get up, go to work, pay the bills, and repeat. And here's the crazy part. Getting a raise or a better job usually doesn't solve the problem. It just expands your spending. It just makes the cage a little bigger, a little more comfortable.
Okay, so how in the world do you get out? This right here brings us to the single most important lesson in the whole book. Honestly, it's a concept so simple but so powerful that it's the foundation of everything. Rich Dad's definition of an asset is just brutally simple. Forget all the complicated financial jargon you've heard. An asset is anything that puts money in your pocket, period. That's it.
And the opposite? You guessed it, just as simple. A liability is anything that takes money out of your pocket. All that matters is which way the cash is flowing. Let's make this crystal clear. Over in the asset column, you've got things like dividend-paying stocks, rental properties bringing in monthly checks, maybe a business you own. These things are literally putting cash in your pocket. On the liability side, things like your car loan, credit card debt, student loans, all that stuff that just drains cash from you every single month. And right there, that is the core difference. The rich focus their time and money on buying assets. The poor and middle class, well, they spend their money on liabilities. But here's the kicker. They often think they're buying assets. Which brings us to the most controversial idea in the whole book. Is your house an asset? According to Rich Dad's definition, the house you live in is not an asset. It's a liability. And why is that? Because every single month it's taking money out of your pocket for the mortgage, the taxes, the insurance, the repairs. It doesn't generate income for you.
Okay, so once you truly get that distinction between assets and liabilities, you've found the key to escaping the rat race. Now we can really look at how to structure your life so your money finally starts working for you instead of the other way around.
So for most people, the flow of money looks something like this. Your paycheck comes in from your job, and then it immediately flows right back out to pay for all your liabilities, the mortgage, the car payment, all the expenses. There's usually very little, or sometimes nothing, left over to buy any real assets. But now,
Let's look at how the wealthy do it. Their main focus isn't their job's salary. It's on building up that asset column, creating a collection of things that generate their own income totally separate from their job.
And here is where the magic really happens. The income from all those assets starts to pay for their living expenses. And whatever's left over, what do? They use it to buy even more assets. This creates this incredible self-powering cycle of wealth that just gets stronger and stronger over time. And that leads us to the #1 takeaway of this entire book. It's not about how much money you make. It really isn't. It's about how much money you keep and how hard you put that money to work for you by building up your asset column.
So that brings us to the final thought. The lessons in this book aren't just ideas. They're a challenge, a call to action. So I'm asking you, go look at your last bank statement. Seriously, were you buying things that put money into your pocket or things that took money out? Answering that one question for yourself, that could be the first step toward a completely different financial future.
If you want to keep digging into the big ideas that can totally reshape the way you think about money and success, make sure you subscribe to the AI Bookworm. We'll catch you on the next one.